Hi, I'm Lori Baker. Welcome to Outtakes. Today's interview is with creator and producer Brian Beacock, talking about his award-winning zombie comedy web series, Acting Dead. Along with Brian, the cast consists of Jillian Clare, Chris Gallia, Patrika Darbo, Paul Nigro, and John Yellington, as well as some great guest stars such as Debbie Gibson, Carolyn Hennessy, Sean Kanan, and Eric Martzoff. The series is currently streaming on Amazon Prime, and get ready for Season 2 to come. Congratulations for your web series, Acting Dead, being picked up by Amazon Video. This is a fun web series, a zombie comedy. So I first want to ask, how did this idea of doing this series come to you?
Well, I had worked with, first of all, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I had worked with producer Susan Bernhardt years ago. I was doing a web series called McCracken Live, and she was doing one called Misbehave, and we had met at a bunch of web series festivals around the Los Angeles area. And as those shows were kind of winding down, we knew we wanted to do something together. And it literally came from me sitting in traffic on the 405 freeway, which is just a terrible freeway out here in Los Angeles, just dead stopped. And I was looking around at all the people sitting in their cars thinking, we're just stuck here like zombies, going about our lives in Los Angeles. And I thought, well, it'd be really funny what if we actually were, some people in these cars were zombies, but they were still living lives as humans, like going to work, going to auditions, things like that. So this kind of bizarre Los Angeles world came to me, and I just expanded upon that. Plus, zombies are hip and cool. Walking Dead, of course, has helped us with that. And they've always been popular, so I thought, well, I'm going to do something really kind of popular and fun and could have a huge fan base, and that's basically where the idea came from.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if Walking Dead had was sort of an inspiration for that, since that series, really shot off around that time. But yeah, I thought it was also a funny spoof about, actors who will get plastic surgery, or, everyone will sort of follow each other, be the sheep down the paths to get the roles, and it even made me think of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, even though that was for charity and not for actually acting roles. But, you see all the celebrities dumping ice buckets over their head, and it's just like one person would do it, it just started a whole epidemic. And it just made me think, okay, I can see everyone becoming zombies.
Yep. Yeah, anything for a gig, anything for a job. And, of course, we'd already seen, real horror, films, Romero and Walking Dead and things like that. So I wanted to make my show more along the lines of the film Shaun of the Dead. So it's basically like Shaun of the Dead meets The Office. So even though people are zombies, it's just matter of fact. This is just the way things are in LA. Just you keep your head down and you do your job.
Yeah. Well, the reason I heard about this show is, I follow the daytime soaps. So many actors I enjoy are in the show: Patrika Darbo, Jillian Clare, Eric Martzoff, Carolyn Hennessy, John York, just tons of actors, and also guest
Sean
stars
Kanan.
like Debbie Gibson. How did you get so many people to sign on?
Well, Susan Bernhardt used to be in the publicity. Actually, I think she's still maybe in the publicity world. So she's known a lot of these celebrities for a long time. And that was very helpful. Debbie Gibson is a friend of a friend. I used to work at Universal Studios in the Beetlejuice Rockin' Graveyard Review years ago, singing and dancing. And a friend of mine in that show, Ray Garcia, was one of Debbie Gibson's backup dancers back in the day. So Debbie used to always come by the show and say hi and hang out backstage when we were doing our 5 shows a day. And that's kind of how I got to know her. So I contacted her and said, look, I want you to play a diner waitress who's really terrible at her job. And she was so excited because she'd never had a real job. Well, I say real job. She'd never had a traditional job her whole life. It's always been performing. So she was thrilled to put on a waitress outfit and sling some hash. She was great. It was great working with her.
Yeah. Was it like difficult to shoot when you had so many different actors, who were currently working on their different shows, different soap operas, so they have their own tight schedules, and then also trying to make it work for the series?
It absolutely was. We shot the series like a movie, and that is, instead of shooting an episode at a time, we shot based on location. It's called block shooting. So we shot for 3 weeks, and we shot all 8 episodes. And trying to organize all these actors, like you say, Carolyn Hennessy was working on General Hospital at the time, and Eric was on his show, and Lori Allen is doing voiceovers, and it was really difficult, and we didn't necessarily have the budget to lock in all these locations, even if we could not get the people to work that day. Every location is like a $1,000 or a $1,500 deposit just to hold it, and you lose that if you can't shoot that day. So it was very difficult. I left most of that work to Susan Bernhardt. She did all the scheduling stuff because my brain I couldn't wrap my brain around it.
Yeah. What would you say is like the most challenging aspect to creating a web series? Is it the scheduling, or is it just the actual filming?
Well, I am not a rich man, so they are expensive. I mean, if you want to do it right, and we really wanted to make it look like television, and I think we did, and there's just a lot of costs involved. Locations, food, post-production, crew, things like that. Most of our actors were doing favors, working for very, very low union scale, but they basically did it because they wanted to be a part of it, so I'm really appreciative to them. So, yeah, it's, first of all, writing a series that is going to be good and that you think people are going to want to watch and that's funny is the first task and the first hurdle. And then the other is money and organizing the talent. We had over 100 people involved in the series, which is pretty big. Yeah.
Well, I know at the Indie Series Awards, you guys won a lot of awards and got a lot of nominations. And what was the experience like, going to the award shows and doing the festivals? How is that experience?
It's really fun. And, again, I hate to, harp on it, but again, it's expensive. It's expensive to do festivals. Indie Series Awards, you don't have to submit, which is great. I love that. But it's, we were in a lot of festivals all over the world, which sadly we couldn't go to. We could screen there and win awards, but we couldn't. I can't just fly off to Australia as much as I'd like to. But when we do get to go, it's really, really fun, and it's just a nice payoff for the hard work that everyone has put in, and a nice chance to meet other creators and collaborate with them in the future. And the Indie Series Awards was insane. I think we got 10 nominations and we won 4 or something like that. Best series, best writing, best actor, and I think best co-star, for Peter Vogt. But it was an amazing night. It's always really, really fun to be honored and recognized for something that you've spent so much time and worked so hard on.
What advice would you give to someone who is thinking of starting their own web series or writing their own web series?
Gosh. What advice? Well, here's one that I think is really a good idea, and that is pay close attention and work really, really hard on your social media footprint or your social media following, because it's going to help you not only in raising funds, but once your show is done, kind of getting it ramped up and getting the word out. I tell a lot of people that are doing web series to create their Twitter profile, their Instagram profile, start posting pictures and getting fans from the beginning, because you really can't do it all on your own. And in this world, even television and movies today right now, they cast people based on how many Instagram or Twitter followers they have. It's just who we are right now. Beyond that, for my next series, I will probably write a more simpler series, not so many locations, not so many people, to kind of keep the costs down. That's not a bad idea. It's know which locations you have available to you that are inexpensive and write your series to that, especially for someone who's just starting out. But do it. You know, there's no perfect time to do it. That's for darn sure. If you want to do it, just do it.
Oh, yeah, that's great advice. So do you actually have another web series that you're working on, or?
Well, I've got a couple on the back burner that I think are really fun and really exciting. But you know, since things are kind of happening for Acting Dead, you know, we're now recently on Amazon Prime Video, free to all members, by the way, Prime members, and we won the Emmy and all that stuff. I kind of think that Acting Dead is due and deserves a season 2. So that is our next is doing a season 2. So once that's done, maybe I'll move on to a different project.
Oh, okay. Well, good. That's exciting. Then we have another season of Acting Dead to look forward to. And
I'm so excited about it, and it's just terrifying the amount of money it's going to cost.
Well, as you said, just do it.
Just do it.
You'll be in debt, but hey.
Oh, gosh, exactly.
So aside from Amazon Prime, what are the other ways that people can watch Acting Dead on your on your website, or?
At this point, because we kind of wanted to funnel everything to Amazon because that was a really good get for us. If you go to actingdead.com, it will basically funnel you to Amazon Prime. There are several ways to watch it, though. If you are a member, you can watch it for free, but you could also pay per episode if you're not a Prime member. We will probably be joining iTunes shortly, but those currently are the only ways to watch the show.
Okay. We'll definitely keep an eye on that and see.
Yes.
See what adventures in store for the zombie actors and in the next season coming up. Also along with being, a writer and an actor and a producer, you're also a prolific voiceover artist. And I was just wanting to ask, for our listeners, what are some of the shows or games we can hear your voice in?
Well, thank you. Yes, I've been doing this, it feels like 100, but probably about 20 years. I started back in the day with the 3rd season of Digimon, where I played Takato. So most of the stuff that I do is the Japanese anime. So I'm on Digimon, Naruto, Bleach, Durarara, Blue Exorcist. A lot of these shows are on Hulu or Netflix. And it started out, I got cast because I was doing a one-man play where I played 38 different characters. And one of the directors of Digimon saw me in the show, and she had me come in to audition for it, and I booked it. And since then, because of that job, I've been working for the past 20 years in voiceover. I have a new game coming out. It's called Danganronpa, and I play a sadomasochistic panda bear called Monokuma. And it's not a game for the weak of heart, I'll say that. I wouldn't recommend it to young audiences. But it's very funny. He's very sarcastic, and he's a great character to play. And I think that comes out, I believe, in September 19th.
Awesome. Well, my daughter is very much into anime, so I've got to tell her about everything you've been involved with, and you might have another fan on your hands there. So. Oh,
that's so cool. I love that. I love to hear that.
Oh, yeah. So, aside from that, are there any other projects for you, besides Acting Dead, of course, as an actor or a voiceover artist or anything else that we can look forward to seeing you in?
Yeah, this has been a good year as far as things finally coming out. I'm in a movie that's probably going to be on ABC Family, possibly, or Lifetime. It's called To the Beat, produced and directed by Jillian Clare. In October, there's a premiere or I think cast and crew screening of a horror film that I'm very excited about called Hollow Scream, and that has a social media profile on YouTube and Facebook right now. And then another film called Racing Colt. That is, I'm not sure when it's coming out. They're in post-production right now, but so it's been a good year for movies. Of course, if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, at Brian Beacock, I'll be posting all the stuff, new games and new cartoon series and all that stuff when they come out.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, I'm looking forward to the next season coming up of Acting Dead, and I will follow all your social media and see what you're up to. Thank you so much for spending this time with me talking about your web series.
I really appreciate it. I'm very excited, and I'm so grateful to everyone who's involved with the show.
Keep up with all future shows on my social media. I'm on Twitter as Laurie's Outtakes, on Facebook as Outtakes Interviews on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm on Instagram as Outtakes Interviews. Until next time.
Pencils, glue. We got crayons every hue. School supplies for your whole crew. Target's got everything you need to ready, set, go back to school.
What you doing? Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony. Stop! At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory. Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.